Moulton. I am an alcoholic. No, I'm not an alcoholic. I'm a beatboxer, a vocal percussionist. This is what I do, I make noises. Sometimes I try to sound like drums. Sometimes I sound like drums. Sometimes I don't. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like a nut. So yes, welcome. I'm here to explain how... Sorry, it's going to drive me insane. Insane in the membrane. So I'm here to teach you basically the basics of what I do and answer any questions for those of you that aren't already beatboxing, or answer the questions for those of you that are. Do I have any questions off the bat? Just, yes.
How do you get a snare to not sound like a kick drum?
Can I, how to make the snare?
Because there's a lot of air coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes when you put it into the mic, it sounds like a kick.
Okay, yeah. How to make the snare not sound like a kick drum? Well, there's so many different kinds of snares. So it kind of depends on how you're doing it. You don't have to push a lot of... I'm going to come down here because I can't tell if the speaker's actually... No, it's okay. You don't have to push a lot of air in order to make a snare drum. You don't have to follow through with your breath. You can do it with just the air in your mouth, and it makes it sound shorter. It's a different effect, but that would be one way of solving the problem. Also, you can use the mic and hit your snare drum off axis, so you're not blowing the air directly into it. So let me demonstrate. Snare drum. Now I'm simply doing this, which I will demonstrate, and I will put stuff on the board and all that kind of stuff. But basically a PF sound, really short. The air that you hear, yeah, spit on your neighbor, feel free. The air that you hear coming out is basically meant to represent the chains that are on the bottom of a snare drum that make that rattling sound. So you hear at the end. You don't have to use that sound. You can make it sound like this, which is just pushing the air through. It's the same kind of thing, but instead of going at the end, I'm just making that sound with the air that's in my mouth. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I'm not getting a huge pop on the bass drum or on the mic because I'm not. One, because the pitch is a lot higher for a snare drum than the kick drum. The bass drum. So when you have the change in pitch, you shouldn't be incorporating the lower frequencies, unless you have a really low snare, which would sound like this, bass drum and snare. You hear how similar, how close in pitch they are? Yeah. So I try to differentiate. I try to make sure that there's a definite pitch difference between the two, unless I'm going for a specific effect. Another question before?
The pitch is not coming from your voice, right?
No, it's all in the tightness of your mouth. Just like I was talking in the last class about vibrating your lips and all that kind of stuff. The looser your mouth, the lower the pitch. To make it simple. The tighter, the higher the pitch. Etc.
Any tips for somebody who is just enjoying just acapella without any kind of mic at all? Who's going to try it?
So you have no interest in using a microphone?
I just have never had my voice thrown through something. It's always just strictly acapella.
Okay, so basically a tip to get more familiar with the microphone?
Whatever.
My tip is use a microphone. Even if you're in a large group, college group, 15, 20 people, a lot of times they have area miking, and you guys sing in front of that. I would still recommend, if you're the percussionist, having your own microphone. Or at least being a heck of a lot, I said heck, it's true, I'm sorry, a heck of a lot closer to the microphone than everybody else. In order to, you want to be heard. A lot of times, these sounds just, they don't carry. I'm an amplified beatboxer. I'm not an acoustic beatboxer. I don't like to go out and try to make people hear me, but I don't like to do that because I don't like to work that hard. I'm lazy. I like to go. It takes nothing for me to do that. And on a microphone, it sounds like. Right? Plus, you have control over your equalization. You can boost to a certain frequency on a microphone. So, my advice would be use one. Or stand closer. Or just be really loud and push really hard and try not to blow something out. Microphone placement. For me, it kind of depends on the sounds that I'm making. But for the most part, I always hold my microphone the same way. Whatever microphone, whatever microphone I have, I hold the mic like this. I cup the microphone. I hold it pretty high. And hold the end like so. So I'm pushing air directly, because what we're doing, how we're using this instrument is pushing air directly into the diaphragm of the microphone. That's how you get that popping sound, right? So you're pushing the air in, you're pushing pitched air into this, right? So the difference is, in sound, is this. Of it, so you have to compensate in the EQ a little bit, but that's how I hold the mic all the time, unless I'm doing something special where I want to go. I mean, there are always exceptions. Doing some kind of strange effect. You can do it. I usually do it with just my mouth, but you can use your hands. Here's a subtle difference there. Like I said, I typically do it with just my mouth, because I have more control over it, because you never know when the mic's going to feedback if you're doing this. Or if I'm doing just a hi-hat and I want it to be bright, a little more crisp. It just changes the sound. So for beatboxing, I encourage people to hold it this way. This is how I always teach it. And then I keep my finger basically right up against my nose, just so I always know how far the microphone is away. I give myself enough room to move my mouth. I have to give myself enough room to move my mouth, but I keep it nice and close. Yes?
How do you equalize your DT mic?
Typically, I try to keep it simple. If I'm doing it myself, I boost the lows and I boost the highs. When I came in here, there was a ring around 80, I think around 80 or something like that. So I had to cut that out, which with it would sound. Hey, 1, 2. Oops, I just messed it up. Darn it. So it was ringing right around there. I don't know what pitch that is.